Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Tyler.
And my name is Tori.
It sure is. Is that energy drink working?
No.
Okay, because
it's not an energy drink.
What? How is this not an energy drink?
It's
it says
sparkling water.
With caffeine and electrolytes.
Yeah, but it's the same thing as drinking pop.
Okay, well, that's not good for you then.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, the caffeine part.
Ah, okay.
It's as much energy.
Well, yeah, guys, we apologize. So, okay, where do I begin? One, it is almost midnight here. This is where Tori and I this is our golden hour for recording podcasts.
It's your golden hour.
It's
my sit here and listen to you.
Oh, so are you saying this is my time to shine? That's why it's golden?
Yeah.
Because I put a lot of work into this podcast, guys, but it didn't help that we... what's the word? Forgot about it?
I didn't forget.
Oh, you didn't forget, so you just intentionally didn't want to do it for a month?
Yep.
Because do you know what I did on October 25th, which was exactly a month ago?
Nothing.
That's not true. I uploaded our Scream podcast, which did you know is our most viewed?
That's awesome.
Of Spoiled Popcorn? Yeah, it's
probably because of Austin. Don't tell him I said that.
Well, okay, yeah, I'll just cut that part out. It's got 123 views, which is, like, really good.
Ooh,
because, here, let me just... What's episode 6? I think it was Halloween. Halloween! That's got 15 views. So, 123 compared to the 15. Yeah, so people like the Scream podcast, and at the end of it... We made the mistake of saying, okay, guys, next time we're going to do Hubie Halloween.
Hey, we said next time.
Yeah.
We didn't say next week.
Yeah, I don't think I did because at that point it was like, all right, even if I set a schedule, we will never follow it. So, yes, it was very easy to let Hubie Halloween go to the wayside. Plus, that movie came out, October 7th? It was like first week of October.
Probably.
So we were already late on it. Like, it's not relevant anymore. But, I mean, I've watched it twice, and you watched it twice?
Sure.
I think. Yeah, Did you never watch it the second time like you said you were going to? Didn't you take notes?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Okay, that makes sense why there is literally nothing. Guys, you can't see what Tori is doing, but she is literally picking apart a Q-tip, I'm assuming a clean one, with a thumbtack. A push pin.
Don't ask.
I didn't. I just accepted it. But yeah, we watched it together. We loved it. And then I watched it alone and took notes vigorously. Seriously, I'm really... College me would be super proud of the notes I took. So let me scoot forward here. And let's dive in. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, I can hear the energy. Did you think you were going to like this movie? When you first heard about it?
It's Adam Sandler.
Do you like all Adam Sandler?
Yes.
Indy, do you like Adam Sandler?
Hey, Indy.
Make noise if you think you... Do you like Adam Sandler?
Of course, he's quiet now.
Yeah, because he literally just went... Oh, there he is.
Do you like Adam Sandler?
Do you?
I'm guessing that's a no.
He's just wagging his tail at us.
What the fuck are you saying?
So, alright, yeah, I knew I was going to love it. It's just a fun Halloween movie, and I was not... Okay, I need you to stop, focus.
I am focusing.
On the cat.
No, I am hearing.
Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to dive right in, because this could be a long and it could be a short episode, but I took a lot of notes, and I'm excited. I've been putting this off for way too long. You are not focused right now.
I am focusing.
Okay, because you are going... I hear your noises.
I said...
Oh, yeah, sorry, my bad. Wrong mouth noises. So, I already love the beginning, because it's the Happy Madison Productions, but it's like... The Halloween themed, do you remember? Or I think instead of the golf ball, it's a pumpkin. And it's just the terrific guy. He's like, oh my goodness, it's been a while. He looks like Dracula. So it's a good vibe right off the bat. And then, so the movie begins. We are at Westford State Mental Hospital. I looked that up. It's nothing. It's just a fictional place. And fucking Ben Stiller is there. And I remember laughing because I was like, oh my god, this dude's acting like his character in Happy Gilmore.
No, it is the character.
Yep. I looked at the Imdb Trivia. Take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if anyone can edit that. And
it legit is him. They
can
connect the universe.
Yeah, he reprises his role. It's the same character. And I just... I didn't even know that until after the second time I watched it, is when I went through IMDb.
So that means somewhere in this universe of where he works,
he is, I believe...
Happy Gilmore...
is a person.
Is a person and his grandma.
Yeah. And here
may
we
or
are.
May not still be living, I don't know.
And here we are with Adam Sandler as Hubie Halloween. We'll get into his name later.
Okay.
We'll get into his name later. It's so funny. You had a really good moment with it, and I don't want to...
I don't remember.
I don't want to... Well, I have it written down. My trusty notebook here. Seriously, I'm so proud of this notebook right now. Because typically I'd have a computer in front of...
Clues.
Well, typically I'd have a computer in front of me, and I'm just I'm losing my place between my notes and fandom doc. It's like,
I don't know how you keep a place with all that shit written on the paper.
Dude, you're going to be really surprised right now. So...
use a push pen to...
Yeah, so he's got his grandma, and she's great, and the first scene that kind of sets...
Are you sure it's his grandma or his mom?
That's definitely his grandma.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was his mom.
Well, we'll see what I have written down.
I'm like 80% sure it was his mom.
You know what? It could be his mom.
I think we were talking about...
The actress in real life, she's just like in her 90s, so you just assume someone with that age, and he doesn't play that old of a character.
But he is, though. I'm pretty sure he's in his 50s.
Yeah, he's not young like his Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore roles were.
She could be 70.
Yeah, just played by an older.
Yeah.
Because she's definitely spry for an old white gal. I tried to make it rhyme, but I couldn't. And so, yeah, he like, sees the bed, and he's like, okay, wake up. I don't know what he says, but then he, like, lifts it back, and it's, like, a weird pumpkin pillow situation, but there's, like, Jell-O, and I should have written down what it said. It says, I don't know, something, bleh.
Okay.
I'm really disappointed in myself that I can visualize it, but I don't know what it said. But he's on the walkie, and Ben Stiller's just like, oh, Psycho on the loose. And so it's like, oh, so that's what this movie's going to be. Is just Hubie Halloween is going to have to save Salem from
a psycho killer.
From a psycho killer, yeah. And so we're driving through, he's driving through this, he's writing.
So we're talking about Hubie now.
Yeah.
Not Ben Stiller.
No.
Okay.
Ben Stiller, that's it.
Just the beginning.
Yep. It was just like, oh, that's fun. Okay, just Easter egg or cameo after cameo. And I guess Easter eggs. This movie's full of them. It's you said it. Adam Sandler, he's built up his own universe. I give that man so much credit. He's so fun. Like, you don't really hear complaints about him, and that makes me... It's like The Rock. Mm-hmm. The Rock doesn't really have a universe, but it's like, you just
but
like...
you kind of know what he
does.
is.
And like Ryan Reynolds, you just like people that seem enjoyable to work with.
The only thing I've ever heard about Adam Sandler, and I don't agree with it, is the fact that a lot of people are on one side is like they don't think he's funny.
Yeah.
Or his movies don't like match up to his comedy that he's done before.
Like stand up?
Or just in general,
or like he can't.
Recent movies are not as good as past movies.
So he can't relive the glory days.
I guess, but I've heard a few things. But
that's always my thing. I think you've said it. I may have said it. I know Kevin Hart gets this too, but it's like, and also The Rock, and it's like he's not acting. He's just Adam Sandler in this movie.
He's just being himself. That's just Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart. It's like they act to an extent, but I think people are just so familiar with the types of characters they become that it's just Adam Sandler, for example, is just synonymous with all of these different characters. And all these characters, they have similarities because Adam Sandler just brings his own character into each character, but they're all so different. You can't look at me and be like, yeah, the dad from Click is the exact same person as Waterboy. No. It's never like that.
Yeah, and so when people say, oh, Adam Sandler's just always Adam Sandler in his movies, it's like, what does that even mean? Do you like him or do you not?
Well, he tends to play in a lot of his recent movies the dad that's kind of not stuck up, but the dad that's very selfish in a sense.
Yeah. Him and Jim Carrey took on very similar roles and characters in their golden... Because they're both out of it a little bit. I mean, Adam Sandler kind of...
Is that right?
Adam Sandler kind of renewed it with his Netflix deal.
He's got some good movies like that have come out.
Oh yeah, like the Murder
Mystery, The Do-Over, Ridiculous Six was... Every movie of his that comes out on Netflix is the number one. So I give him credit. He still has pull. But like Jim Carrey, they are normal dudes who get sucked into these almost mythical or magical scenario, like Click. And then there was Liar Liar, Dude Can Never Lie.
And, Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, definitely Bruce Almighty. And I feel like there's another one with Adam Sandler that's kind of...
Bedtime Stories?
Bedtime Stories. So,
and
they're both probably similar in age. Jim Carrey, a little bit older. But yeah.
And they both were on, at one point, SNL.
Yes. And
they both had their universes.
To an extent. Jim Carrey...
they were both hosts.
Yes, and Adam Sandler was a regular. He's an alum.
They fired him for some reason.
Yeah.
But and then Jim Carrey was never hired on because apparently he just never fit into their...
Yeah, and...
look at him now.
I can say I don't care for any of their stand-up. I think they are good with the script. I guess that's kind of insulting, but I prefer their characters more than just them. I've watched Adam Sandler stand-up, and...
It's not the stand-up, I think, but they do improvise. Improvise?
When they make up things?
Yes, okay.
Improv?
Yes. A lot in their movies, I've read.
Yes.
So it's almost like they're doing their own stand-up in a movie.
And maybe that's just why people are just like, well, there's Adam Sandler being another Adam Sandler. But to take it back to Hubie Halloween, I actually... probably at least more recently with any other of his movies, I felt more just like this is its own character and less Adam Sandler. Mm-hmm. Hubie Halloween, he felt like his own... It was a
whole different thing.
Yeah, like, oh, that's Adam Sandler playing a character, but the character is more prominent than Adam Sandler is.
Almost like a mix between Waterboy, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the voice, the mannerisms, his
just childlike...
Innocence, 100%. So, okay, so he's driving through town, which is Salem.
On his bike.
And I love that it's Salem, because it's like, it's just, this movie's gonna be Halloween. What's the most Halloween town you can think of? Boom, witch trials and things like that. And so he's driving through on his bike, he's got his radio, kids are throwing eggs, and then he catches them with his thermos. And this is the first thing we see his thermos do. Mm-hmm. He catches the eggs, and he's like, oh, think for breakfast, Rocky Balboa style. And he drinks them, and then he just projectile vomits. Like, exorcist vomits. You're like, oh.
And then he's totally fine, still riding his bike.
Yeah, it's just like...
Because who's going to eat all those eggs raw? Yeah.
And then we see the love interest, Violet Valentine, which this...
Are we going to point out?
This was one of my favorite things, that he likes to have women characters, a love interest, have the double V.
Yeah.
That sounded dirty. But we have, in Billy Madison, it was Veronica Vaughn. Oh, here, I'll quiz you. All right. Do you know who... Okay, so in Happy Gilmore, you pointed this out.
Valerie.
I didn't believe it. The same actress.
Yeah.
I didn't know that she took on a voice.
She does look really different.
Well, she took on a voice, too.
Did she?
In Happy Gilmore, she sounded really kind of high-pitched and nasally, or it was like kind of...
she was just young.
Maybe. It was just different. Two different people to me. Two different people to me. So, yeah, we got Veronica Vaughn from Billy Madison. In Happy Gilmore, it was Virginia Venant. Kind of a more forgettable one. The Waterboy. I remember,
that was Bridget Wilson.
That's her name?
Yeah, actress.
Okay. That sounds like a... Okay.
Vicky Valancourt
in Waterboy, and do you remember Little Nicky?
Oh God, it's
I'll give you a hint. It starts with a V.
Thanks. Is it last name V too?
Yes, actually. Wow. It's Valerie Varan.
Yes, Valerie.
I've only seen that movie once, so I've
seen it so many times, but I know
didn't even know
it's played by. It's Patricia
Arquette.
Patricia Arquette or the other one?
I don't.
There's multiple Arquettes.
I've only seen it once.
But I love her in that movie.
I honestly wouldn't have been able to tell you that Little Nicky was one of the VV movies.
Oh,
but yeah.
I love that movie.
So this is the fifth one where, she's Violet Valentine, very pretty. And he, obviously, it's a slow motion. He sees her. What's he going to do? It's going to run into a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. He runs into a car, and then he pretends to be the animatronic. And, like, she knows what's going on. And
she just laughs at him, but, like, in a cute way.
Yeah, it's so good. I can't put my phone away because I have IMDb Trivia screenshots pulled up as well. And that was the second one, was the VV names. All right, and then for some reason we have Ray Liotta in this movie.
Yeah,
he's one of 4 main bullies.
He's been in other.
Has he?
Yeah, God, there's so many movies and different things he's been in. I'm pretty sure he was in one past.
So I don't know, what is Hubie? What's his job? Like a deli clerk?
He's a deli clerk. Yeah.
Yeah, he makes sandwiches for people.
Yeah.
Ray Liotta calls him Hubie, which Hubie's already a laughable name, so. Hubie, dude, I mean, even if you don't want to make fun of him, it's like, it's just a very obvious nickname.
Just like in every Adam Sandler movie, not everyone, but a lot of them, he gets bullied for some reason.
But one thing I love about Hubie Halloween, I keep calling him Hubie Halloween, that's not his name. One thing I love about...
you don't want to say his name yet.
We're getting there, yeah. One thing I love about Hubie is that he stands up for himself and he's completely aware.
And he's totally fine with himself.
Yeah, like he's like, PB's not my name. He's not completely oblivious like other Adam Sandler characters would be. So yeah, he calls him Hubie, and then he probably makes a joke about him not having a girlfriend, because right here I've written down Hubie's girlfriend is a Canadian resident of, and then later he says, yeah, she girlfriend lives in Ontario. Ontario and Toronto. So right off the bat, that's made up. It's not a big reveal later. And then we have O'Doyle, another cameo / Easter egg from the Adam Sandler universe. Andy O'Doyle has a bunch of eggs in TP, and then, like, I can't remember if it's later in the movie where we meet Kevin James, but it is. I do have that written down.
It's not very later. It's not much
like
later.
Next scene, actually.
Yeah.
And then we have. I guess this kid is like a Disney star.
Yeah. He was in
sorry, I got plastic
Jesse or something.
I think you're right. Yeah, very young.
Which he looks totally different now. Obviously.
The moment I saw his IMDb credits, I was like, yeah, that's the kid. Never watched that show, but I remember him.
But are you gonna point out who it was supposed to be?
Yeah. That was saved for the very, very last thing, but... wait, no, that's the wrong character. Pretty sure it's the wrong character.
Oh, no. Yes, no, maybe so.
Pretty sure it's the wrong character.
I'm almost positive that it's not. But...
We'll save it for later. Yeah. You good?
Bad.
And so... And then Ray Liotta and his name is Michael? Matt? His name is... I have it written down that... Like, I don't want to keep saying the Indian kid. I mean, that's what he is. And I forgot his name. I think it's Michael.
Okay,
honestly.
Let's go with Michael.
Michael or Matt. I have right here, gets punched by Freddie Mercury, because later in this movie, he dresses as Freddie Mercury. So we will call him Freddie.
Okay.
So Freddie, he puts a lamb or a sheep mask on his head, goes up through the bottom of the display where they would keep meats, and Ray Liotta's like, oh, can I have the, what is it? I want to get it right. Can I have the lamb head? And Hubie Hubie is just like, oh, we don't sell lamb head. And then he's like, oh, well, what's that? There's like, it's like...
And it does the goat noise.
The obnoxious, like Adam Sandler scream. And that's like the first scare of the movie. The first screams of many. Mm-hmm. They're so great. And then we meet Kevin James, who's Officer Steve.
With the mullet.
I will probably call him Kevin James more than Officer Steve. Because Kevin James, FYI, has... started up a nice YouTube channel, which has been a little quiet recently. So
COVID.
He's more Kevin James to me than he is Officer Steve. But yeah, so he's got some big caveman hair and beard, kind of the mullet, aviator glasses, the whole getup. Yeah, and I wish I remembered the scene, because I have Kevin James, Officer Steve, hyphen, then Kenan Thompson hangs up when Hubie calls.
Yeah, it has to do with, like, he's complaining about shit.
He's complaining about Andy O'Doyle having all the eggs in toilet paper.
Yeah.
And so the minute it's like, hey, this is Hubie, and then click. And Keenan's in this movie. Looks great.
Yeah.
As always, good role for him. This is the first time he's in an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. So, Andy O'Doyle and his squad of ghost faces, because they're dressed as ghost face, they chase him on the bike. He flips into the grass. You hear O'Doyle rules. And then we meet Steve Buscemi, who, what a treasure.
He's just so...
He's so great in this movie.
Yeah.
He's Walter Lambert. And I can never hear Walter Lambert without hearing Walter Lambert. Like, in just Hubie's voice. And it's like, wow, that's quite a fall. But he, like, shows up over him. And, like, I don't know if upbeat music plays, but it's like, hi there. Let me help you up. That's quite a fall you took. I'm not even going to attempt a Steve Buscemi voice.
Yeah.
And it's
Please
just...
don't.
It's just, like, a nice guy. And then,
almost too nice.
Yeah. And then... I'm assuming Walter comments on the thermos, because then he's like, yeah, it's kind of the Swiss Army knife of thermoses. Made it
more
back...
like the fucking... What's...
He made it when he was in the Scouts.
I was thinking Inspector Gadget.
Oh, dude, yes! Should we go... I wrote a list down.
Okay.
Of all... Okay, you ready? Because I had to go to the margins for this. So, what we see in the movie, and I think I did this in order... but I also didn't because I forgot pepper spray. Okay. Soup, because it's thermos. And that's a reoccurring thing. It catches eggs. It is a vacuum cleaner. It's a telescope. It is a trowel, which is just a little shovel. It is an umbrella, a drill, a flashlight. It holds his inhaler. It is a retractable cable. It's like when he throws it away and it comes back.
I'm just like...
Not to be confused with a grappling hook, which, by the way... It is.
But like, does it fit into multiple compartments?
I don't. It's Mary Poppins. It's the Mary Poppins bag of goodies. It's just incredible. It's like Hermione's bag of goodies. It's like
Inspector Gadgets.
It's also like Santa Claus's bag of goodies. Y'all need a new gimmick.
Wait.
Hubie's thermos is where it's at.
Oh. Halloween Town's grandma bag of goodies.
Yeah. So, it's a retractable cable, a megaphone, a grappling hook, a blender, a scented candle, which I thought was hilarious.
I don't remember why he used that.
He's in the bathroom, just going to the bathroom. And you can just barely see it. He just has the thermos there, but if you look, there's a little flame. So it's a scented candle.
Could you imagine getting that mixed up, like the candle part with food?
Right, like with anything else. And then later... kind of spoiler, he thermoses to other people. I'm not going to say who those other people are because we'll get there. And their thermoses, and I'm assuming his does as well, there's one has a flare gun and the other is a hairdryer. And then later in the movie, or at random part, because I didn't even notice it, it's a makeup kit. He puts black face paint like the footballers and stuff. So that's 17 things I see in the movie. Later that week, when this movie came out, Adam Sandler took to Instagram with a fake video, but it was a real one. But there's no way that this thermos does all these things. It'll blow your mind when you see it, or when you hear what I say, words. So, it's also a pregnancy test. I'm just going to go through these real quick. Pregnancy test, parachute, emergency toilet. Does this say stool? I don't like that stool is right under emergency toilet.
Yeah.
Anyways... boombox, security camera, hand sanitizer, police scanner, t-shirt cannon, analog clock, remote, pickler. Those are two different things. He can pickle things, and it is a remote. For what? I don't know. Maybe Morty knows.
I'm just really nervous about him mixing some of this stuff up. You hit the wrong button, and you're pooping in some toilet. Yeah. I mean, not toilet. Some pickle juice. I don't know.
Pickles his poop and then drinks it later. Blech.
I don't know.
5 bonus points if you know who Morty is from. Do you remember? I just said, it's an Adam Sandler character.
Morty.
Because I said it was a remote, and who knows what it controls, but Morty would know.
Oh, yeah. The science dude that reminds me of Rick.
Yeah.
Also kind of funny because it's Rick and
Morty. Christopher Walken.
Yes.
Yep, from Click. Morty.
Bed Bath & Beyond.
But he was the angel of death. Mort.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's
the fuck?
That was the metaphor, or the pun, I guess, because mortician, Mortimer.
I was this old when I learned that.
Yep, there you go. Where were we? pickler, spider collector, dog whistle, lint roller, computer mouse, fan. Oh, those are two different things. Fan, radiator, lie detector, battle axe, projector, pen, snorkel,
Battle
phone charger,
axe.
dishwasher, deodorant,
Dishwasher.
and a spork.
Oh, and a spork.
He went on Instagram and just made that whole thing, and I went frame by frame and wrote all of that down because it was a 30-second video, and it was like all of those things, including some I already.
Could you imagine someone making that one day?
Yeah, including some you saw in the movie is ridiculous. I'm surprised they haven't just made like here's a. I'm trying to think of the word. Not memorabilia.
Multi-use? Oh.
But just a mock-up. It doesn't even do literally any of those things. It's just here's what the thermos looks like.
Yeah.
You probably could 3D print it. Okay. So yeah, throughout the movie, he's going to use the thermos. I went ahead and said what it did so I don't have to keep bringing it up. Just here's another use of the thermos. Let me catch my place. Yes, made it back when he was in the Scouts. And then Walter gives him a weird thing. It's like, yes, yeah, just I'm your new neighbor. And you know what? If you hear noise, literally ever, you don't have to come by and check on me. You know what? In fact, it's important you don't. If you hear a commotion, don't. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then Walter offers to give him to give him a ride home. It's like, oh, that's a nasty spill you had there. And it's like, oh, no need. I'm right here.
Literally next door.
And that's where they found out they were neighbors.
And
his front yard is loaded with Halloween decorations.
Doesn't he ask him if he has kids?
Nope. And he's like, oh, yeah, good for the kids. He's like, yep, nope, none. And that's just what I love about Hubie. He's just not afraid to, put himself out there.
Yeah.
Because normal things like that would embarrass someone.
It's like, oh, well,
and he's like, yep, no kids.
Nope.
The only thing he makes up throughout the movie is, that girlfriend thing. And that's, I don't know, he's just a wholesome character. There's nothing, you're never yelling at him to, do anything.
Yeah.
And so, we meet his mom, and then he walks in the house, and his skeleton, not his skeleton, but a decorative skeleton scares him, and he takes his helmet and fucking knocks its head off. And that happens a few times in this movie, where he's just scared of his own decorations.
It's almost
yeah,
to the extreme.
It's so great, because it's like, oh, Jesus! It's great. And, yeah, the mom is so nice, and I don't think I wrote that she was wearing the shirt.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
That's another thing that I would say is the recurring thing in this movie.
Yeah, I wrote all the shirts down.
Do you...
If you want to hear them.
Yeah, but do you remember where she got them from?
I think she got it from a thrift store.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I just had to quiz you on that.
She wears six shirts, I believe. Let me make sure. Yeah, I think I have. So the first shirt we see is Boner Donor. And then there's Boner Donor? What was that? I think boner's a mistake, so I donate mistakes. And he's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, she's a Boner Donor. There's one that's, I shaved my balls for this. Shirt number 3 is, I'd hit that. And then there's another one, if you can read this, you're in fart range. Muff's diving school, and kayaking gets me wet.
Oh my god.
And then her friend.
And she knows no reason to not wear these.
Her friend, and literally those are every scene she's in a shirt. It's not like, oh yeah, in one scene, it was every scene she's wearing a shirt. And there's one where she's on the news where Adam Sandler's wife makes a cameo. And her and the mom's friend is with her, and her shirt says it's not going to lick itself. And that's so goofy. She probably was wearing another shirt, but I was like, yeah, just write down the one. So yeah, she's got the shirt, and the mom, we're introduced to her. They talk. They're a nice relationship and whatnot. She gives him kind of a little talk of well, you're too nice. You need to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, which is so sweet.
And it's a very not in your face kind of conversation because of what happens later. It really caught me off guard. I like when movies.
Really?
Yeah, I like when movies can throw me. So yeah, he goes upstairs. Hubie is looking through his yearbook, and he says it was most friendly, popular, and best looking. It's the hat trick, and that's Vicky Valentine. Violet. Jesus Christ.
I can't even say that.
There's only so many V names. Yeah, and he's looking, and it turns out she was with Steve, Kevin James. They were a thing, and he was just too scared to ask her out. And that was 1984.
So long ago.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, Frankenstein bangs on his window because that's just a random decoration, and he just throws, I think, the yearbook at the window, and it breaks, and then that's when we find out his thermos is a vacuum cleaner because he cleans up the gas shards and whatnot.
When I think about it, I keep going back to like Hotel Transylvania because I keep thinking about their the people that they portray in that movie, the voices.
Yes.
I keep thinking about, what's his name? Kevin James.
Yeah, he was Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
I've only seen the one movie, I think. And then it's a faraway shot of the broken window, and then you see Richard Hartman. That was his name. It was Richie Hartman. You see the dude who broke loose, the psycho on the loose, just pissing in the dude's front yard. And he's dressed up in a really weird, like Michael Myers kind of garb, but it's like beige and then white.
Oh, they make sure it's known to be very similar to Michael Myers.
At this, dude, 100%. At this point, is he wearing a mask? I don't think so. No, not yet.
No, but it's kind of similar to when Michael Myers was looking for his mask.
Yeah, it's just we see him from behind, and he's got long blonde hair, so we have no idea who this dude is. And then I mentioned we see Adam Sandler's wife as a Harley Quinn reporter. There's like 3 other reporters. Did you hear the thing?
Yeah.
About the real life reporter getting her job. I don't know. I didn't care. And so then we cut to a scene where Kevin James, Officer Steve, is dealing with a married couple, and a farmer has their poor Peanut, their pig named Peanut, is just eaten. Luckily, they don't show it, thank God. It's a little bit unnecessary. And the wife thinks a werewolf did it. And I wrote here, dun, dun, dun!
That was pretty good.
Thank you. And then we go to the Salem Witch Museum, which that sounds fun. I would love to do that. Something like that.
That does sound fun.
And Hubie's so nice. He's like, I saw there was like a long line of people, so I printed up some Halloween word searches. Yeah. They should keep the kids entertained. And then the nun.
The nun was just like,
who we see twice. This is the first appearance. The other appearance is just fucking...
She freaks me out,
It's just fucking... Well, deadpan nun characters are just like, why? What's your thing? So she's like, oh, that's nice, and takes them and just throws them in the trash. And he's also standing with Violet. And it's not just the thing in this movie where he's only into her. Mm-hmm. She's clearly into him, too.
Yeah, but it's like it's never really pointed out in the beginning.
Yeah, and... in this, we meet Adam Sandler's actual daughters, which are hers. She adopted them. And I had trouble with them. One of them, I think it's Cookie and Danielle. And they're played by, I don't know which one is which, but Sadie and Sunny, which I think are adorable names.
I know. Well, it's great because, of course, Sunny being one of the characters in...
Oh, yeah, Sonny Koufax in Big Daddy, I think?
Yes. And then Sadie, I think, was actually a name as well. I can't pinpoint where it's from.
Yeah. All I can think of is, like, the Sadie Hawkins dance, unfortunately.
I'll look that up later.
But, yeah, so the nun throws it away, and they're just like, oh, okay. And then they continue their conversation, and it turns out her and Officer Steve divorced 4 years ago, so they're both single, except for his Ontario girlfriend. And then she, right out the gate, I think he mentions Walter Lambert, and she says, oh yeah, his tombstone's super weird. And she recognizes the name, or someone says the tombstone is weird, and Violet recognizes the name, and literally in the same bullet point, I, from here on out, kept calling him William.
Why?
I don't know. Here, I wrote, her and Officer Steve divorced 4 years, I'm assuming ago. Walter Lambert's tombstone is weird. Violet recognized his name. William never died. It was William for the rest of these notes for some reason.
You're so cute.
And what's dumb, William's harder to say, and it's longer to write down.
Yeah, and I don't even know where you got that.
I went out of my way to let it William. And it doesn't even sound good. It's Walter Lambert.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it's like, oh wait, Walter never died? And I think is that, yes, we're at Ray Liotta's funeral, because he's not just a one-off character like Ben Stiller.
Ray Liotta's funeral?
Dad. It's his funeral.
I was going to say,
it's for his dad.
He did not die.
Ray Liotta's dad died.
And that's where Hubie takes out his trowel and he's digging away at the gravestone, and he finds out Walter Lambert was born in the 1600s and never died.
Well, there was never a date.
Yeah, so it's like, why is Walter Lambert his neighbor? How are you 400 and something years old? Yeah, it's like, what? Or 300, I don't know what 16 something it was. But yeah, so... Oh, we're at the Salem Witch Museum. Another IMDb thing was, this movie takes place in Salem, Massachusetts. This is the same setting in the movie Hocus Pocus, which is another Halloween movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Okay, so yeah, the plot of this movie really goes along. It carries itself very well. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, there's a psycho on the loose. Now this dude, it might be a werewolf. Violet mentions it could be a werewolf, and then we get stuff like that. And so I didn't like this part, but Ray Liotta, he's just like, yeah, my dad, he always did enjoy a good laugh. Like this pushes him in a coffin or like a hole in the ground.
It was a hole in the ground.
Yeah, and he just thump Hubie lands on the thing. He's like, see, my dad would have laughed at that. I love Ray Liotta's laugh.
I know.
It's just
he's always like the bad guy too.
I love it.
And he fits perfectly, but he still pisses me off.
Yeah, it's such a good one. And then this is just random, but one of the caretakers at the cemetery starts shoveling dirt on Hubie, not knowing he's down there. And Hubie goes, someone's down here. And the dude says, the dead speak. Yeah. and then just faints or collapses in the hole with him. Lands on him, hurts him, obviously.
Poor guy.
I'm just like, what the fuck? It was like that same level that the egg vomit. It was like so unnecessary, but I love that scene.
Yeah.
It's just so quick, sudden, random. Is great. So Hubie is biking. He's listening to the radio. He dodges more shit. And throughout the movie, I didn't write down all the items he gets hit with.
But he gets hit with a lot.
It escalates to crutches, a computer, TV. It
starts out low and then gets more and more.
This movie has some really random moments that are just, it keeps you so in it. They're so great.
But it always goes back to like smaller things that happen throughout the movie.
Yeah, and here we are with, according to my notes, a William Lambert is boarding up windows.
Tyler, what? I mean,
It blew my mind.
It blowed my mind.
Oh yeah, no. I'm from now on gonna substitute the word blue with blowed. But Walter is boarding up the windows, and Hubie right out the gate, instead of just looking from afar, is like, "How old are you?" And he's just
so
like,
honest.
You mean in human years?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, come on. And he's like, I don't keep track of that. And so it's like, definitely a werewolf. And so his name is, do you want to say it?
What?
Do you want to say his name? Hubie's full name? What? Well, I got the first and last name. Later, it's the middle name.
Oh, I don't know his middle name. I just know it's...
Yeah, because he's got a sash, and it's Hubert Dubois.
Hubie Dubois.
Or, I don't know if it... No, it's not the sash yet. The sash is later. But he has, like, an ID card that says, Hubert Dubois, official volunteer Halloween helper. And that's, like, it's so adorable. It's so wholesome. That's what people need, is someone to keep them safe on Halloween. Because Halloween...
So what's his middle name?
Hubert Schubert Dubois.
So it's Hubie Shooby Doo?
Yeah, you made that joke, and then later Tim Meadows, who we currently have yet to meet, makes that joke, and we're just like, aw. We thought we were the only ones. I thought you were the only one that made that.
Hubie Shooby Doo.
Yep. And what do I have here? Holds up ghost sign. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. We're at the part where we're in a school.
Yeah.
And another kind of reoccurring actor in Adam Sandler movies is there. I don't know his name. I literally didn't care. He's the
principal,
He's the principal, yes. So he's like, all right, and we have Hubert Dubois, official volunteer Halloween helper. And Hubie holds up a ghost sign, and he's like, gee, give to less fortunate. And then he had this really cool thing that it took me a little bit to follow. But it's like, when I was younger, I would build a pyramid of candy. And what was left on the table, once the pyramid fell, I would then donate to homeless or give to those who couldn't get candy. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's really fucking nice. And he calls on Cookie, which I think is the younger of the daughters that Violet has adopted. And so, yeah, it was just great. And then there's the part we fucking laughed at, where he's just scanning the audience of children and sees the kid just dressed up as a zombie. Just, it's so funny.
So random.
So funny. But then, yeah, all the kids start throwing candy at him. So he can't get through the H and the O and the S and the T. It's just the give. It's just the G part. And then his thermos turns into a big, not parachute, umbrella. That's the name. And yeah, so it's just, everyone's just mean to him. And Cookie, the little girl, she's like, oh no, why are people mean to him? Blah, blah, blah. And then we meet Noah Schnapp. Schnapp?
Schnapp.
Schnapp.
Yeah.
Schnapp. Oh, Schnapp.
It's Schnapp.
Is that what you're reading? Did you figure out the principal? I can see you're busy over there on the phone.
Oh, yeah. I was just,
up?
looking up because I was trying to see who the principal was. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I'm also thinking that this guy, who's a little bit later on, I believe, is also... Like, there's so many people in this.
Yes.
But it's Dan Patrick is his name.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I wouldn't... Yeah, I don't...
He's in so many things, I feel like.
Give me an Adam Sandler
Just
one.
Go With It. Ridiculous Six. Benchwarmers.
Okay, so he just plays very minor supporting
But he's always...
characters.
Yeah, The Do-Over... Pixels.
Okay.
Pixels, is like such an underrated movie.
That's such a great movie. People
Blended.
Don't like it.
Grown Ups 2. That's my boy. Oh my god, he's in so many.
I'm telling you, Adam Sandler is like The Rock.
But he's always like a pronouncer dude. Or an announcer.
Announcer. He's a pronouncer, ladies and gentlemen.
Or he's a dick.
Yeah. So, yeah, we meet Noah Schnapp, and she is the biological son.
You say she?
I'm looking at Violet and Valentine right now. It's
so late.
God, I need to be Dan Patrick or whatever his name is so I can pronounce things correctly. He is the freshman son. Yeah, it is currently midnight. He is the freshman son of Violet and Valentine, the biological one, and he is trying to impress.
He is biological?
In this movie, he's the biological son, and Adam.
Is he? Oh.
Yes, and Adam Sandler's daughters are the adopted ones.
Oh.
Yep.
But I'm just curious who the dad is then.
It might.
It can't be Steve.
I don't know. It might be. They were married, and and they were sweethearts in high school. So you assume that their relationship went from high school to 4 years prior to whenever this takes place.
Okay, well.
So yeah,
that's fine.
But I don't know. Also, Kevin James and you know what? I really don't care that much about that.
What's
the message?
What?
I don't know.
What?
You said something and my Google went off.
Okay. So yeah, and then he's trying to impress this kind of...
Who do you want a message?
All right, turn your phone off. Stop looking at IMDb then, if Google wants to be annoying.
Okay. What's your aunt's name?
What's my aunt's name? You're done. Turning this phone off. Goodness gracious.
All right. What's your aunt's name?
Stop. What's this phone doing? So, okay, we got this attractive, probably not freshman because she keeps calling him freshman. And if you call someone a freshman, you're probably not a freshman. She's older, but she's into him.
She's probably like a year or two older.
Yeah, she's into him and, vice versa.
She's cute.
And he's like, coffee. And it's like, oh, coffee now. It's like, yeah, no, I do coffee. It's like,
coffee?
I'm pretty sure this morning you just got a hot chocolate. And he's like, yeah, no. He's trying to do that cool freshman thing.
Yeah.
And then kids walk in. One of them's Freddie Mercury, and they just knock the coffee out of his hand. It's like, people don't do that in real life, you assholes.
I know, seriously.
So, yeah.
Well, they do, but...
And so someone makes the joke. I think it's his little sister that, oh, the coolness comes and goes. And then... Hubie calls into the radio station, which is great because it's WTCH, which is just witch without the I.
I didn't notice
He's
that.
like, oh, I loved all the symbolism.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's like in his house, and he wouldn't turn down his radio, so he keeps hearing himself repeat. And the announcer, she's some like not hot, but it's just a really
very sexy voice,
a really sultry kind of like. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be... And it's the female equivalent of that.
It's kind of like... Okay, I'm going to get a little nerdy for a second.
Okay.
Kind of similar to... God, what's her name? Kind of like a disco lady in Scooby, the newest Scooby-Doo series?
Yes, because I watched that.
I know. I'm just saying for other people who do, if they do.
Yeah. So yeah, he calls in. I forget what he calls in to do, but they're just like, oh yeah, one of our favorite callers. And then Violet, she dresses her kids up as robots, and it's very nice.
It's an easy costume because it's just tape.
Yeah, it's just
and
garbage
boxes.
can, aluminum, and they look good too. And she keeps saying that Hubie's nice because Cookie is just like, well, people were like throwing things at him today, and it's like he's one of the nicest people ever. And Noah Schnapp is like, I think his name's Tommy in this movie.
Yeah.
Which Tommy,
If you didn't take my phone away, I would have been able to tell you.
your
that.
phone was becoming sentient
I don't
and
care.
too nosy. But me and Austin had this conversation today that Tommy is a very common name in horror movies.
Yeah, but you could say that about like.
There's a Tommy Jarvis.
Is John?
I think Tommy Jarvis was in Friday the 13th. There's Tommy Doyle in Halloween, who's later played by Paul Rudd.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you haven't watched those movies.
What?
Yep. Yeah, it's Paul Rudd's
Oh my God.
film debut. It's always horror movies.
It's so hard to believe.
I want to come up with just a list of actors who got their
I can't believe
starts.
I haven't seen the
who
start
got
of
their
his career.
their career started with horror movies. And then
so many.
Leatherface's name, his is Tommy.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure
See,
Leatherface.
I don't like that movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw's Tommy.
I
So yeah, Tommy, that's his name, but I constantly write down Noah Schnapp in this. And I also write William, so whatever. But yeah, and then this is what I loved, is that the announcer lady, she's like, it's going to be a full moon, so the monsters will be out. And as she's saying that, we see Walter barricading his door. And I never noticed that until the second time I watched it. It's like, holy shit, this movie is just so in your face, but it's so passive.
Hidden still, yeah.
It's like an I Spy book where it's like, dude, the fucking iron's been there the whole time and I just never saw it until I scanned it forever. I love this movie. It's so just with Easter eggs and nods, and you just really have to
keep track.
Yeah, you just really have to pay attention, which is why this is going to be such a fleshed out podcast. My bad. So yeah, now it's Halloween, and the kids are doing their thing. I paused it, trying to look for any cameos, like clever costumes. There weren't really any. None that I noticed. But this is where Richie Hartman, and earlier Kevin James knew Richie Hartman back.
Oh yeah,
because he mentioned him. He's like,
arrest him.
You know what? If he wants to come back, yeah, tell him I'll be waiting. And then that's where Hubie scares him.
Yeah.
Outside the car.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Richie Hartman puts on this pig mask.
That's the part like kind of hinting to.
That's Jigsaw.
That's not Michael Myers.
Well, no, but the actual pig mask, that's in Jigsaw.
Well, yeah, but I'm like.
Yeah,
but
then we
to
finally see the front of his face.
Yeah.
After the mask is put on. There's so many nods. I think I wrote another one down. There's a few.
Of course, you got Scream. You got multiple.
The ghost face we already saw. I'm gonna throw Tommy there, just his name being Tommy. Yeah. So we're trick or treating, and Hubert Dubois, because that's what his mom says.
Oh, and Scooby Doo is like a mystery thing.
Yeah, and this is currently a mystery. Like, is he a werewolf? Who's the bad guy? What's happening? And then later, there's another mystery that we have to solve, which we're getting into very quickly. His mom is like, you need to do what you do best and monitor the streets of Halloween. Or maybe he says that, but he's got a sash on that just says monitor in all capital letters. And then the most fucking random cameo that I didn't care for is Melissa Villaseñor.
I know you do not care for her.
I don't like her. She's like, wow. Like, her voice always sounds like a different voice. Like, that shouldn't be your default voice. Sorry.
I mean, that is her voice.
Sorry, Miss Villaseñor, if you're listening, because we know you are. But yeah, she did have a big-eyed black cat, and then Violet threatens to beat up, threatens to beat her up with her ugly cat, and her black cat's eyes are super wide.
Like, shit.
Just not normal. And I think you said that's the same cat they did in Hocus Pocus. Or no, Sabrina and the Teenage Witch, the TV series.
I mean, both of them are kind of similar because they use, like, an animatronic.
Yeah, but it's, like, pretty much the same kind of model.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow,
that's
that's a good tie-in to another classic, like, horror-related thing. And yeah, So she pulls up and she calls him a badass stud. And then he almost asks her out. And at that point, you'd expect it to be like a dream sequence or like a daydream.
Yeah, like fake.
But it's not. I'm just like, wow, you guys really are right there.
If you remember in Happy Gilmore, like, he does have that dream sequence. I can't talk.
It's 12.
Sequence.
It's like 12:30 in the morning.
I want to say sequence.
I forgive you.
Like sequence. Sequence.
Yes, very good, Tori.
Whereas this is real. Okay, go on.
In what movie?
Happy Gilmore. Remember when she comes out with the beers and she's
like those daydreams, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those ones are clearly like fake.
Yeah, they are. But then it's like in this movie kind of has that comeback, even though they get together in the end. Spoiler.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah. Yeah. And then this is when the second scene with that nun, she walks up out of nowhere next to Hubie after Violet drives away, and she says, and I quote, "I'm asexual, but that girl is making me hella horny." I'm just like, what the fuck?
Really?
Yeah, so we meet Tim Meadows, who calls him Scooby-Doo-Wah, and we were like, oh, damn it, he said the name that Tori said.
Yeah. What else is he in with him in it? He's in something else,
Grown Ups.
Yes, okay.
But he's like the bad guy. He's
the
the
asshole.
anti-Chris Rock.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm the black guy. In this
Yeah.
town. Yeah. And he's got clearly like a hairpiece on. It looks goofy as fuck.
Yeah.
And so you fucking laughed at this. So young Harley Quinn, little girl, walks up and sees the sign that says, "Please only take one candy. I'm away for a little bit." And so she grabs one, thinks about it,
No one's around.
goes to reach for another, and then Hubie steps out of the shadows and like, "Now I'm gonna stop you right there, Missy." You started fucking dying.
It's so little, like something so small like that.
It's so funny. And then Tim Meadows, who I didn't care enough to write down his character name.
He was like
I think
Mr. Hennessy. Or
yes,
something.
I think it's Marcus, perhaps.
Maybe.
I think you're right with Hennessy. But he's like, "Oh, we heard strange noises." And then this little bit, another unneeded scene, but totally like wanted, I guess. Where he's like, "Well, did it sound like this?" And then Adam Sandler just keeps making all these noises. We're like, yeah, it's just all these goofy noises. It's like, no. And it's like, just go figure it out. And so Adam Sandler, Hubie is more than willing. So he goes over, and it's Walter Lambert, of course. That's where Tim Meadows is like, "Yeah, I heard some really weird noise coming from there." So he drives over to William's house, hears cries from outside. He breaks into his basement, finds him in the basement. And I love when he's just like, "I know you told me not to come in if I heard a commotion, but I heard a commotion and I came in."
Yeah, he's just
And,
like...
yeah, he sees feces on the newspaper.
Ugh.
We see Steve Buscemi kind of like, eh! And then...
Which I have to point out that...
Yes.
Yeah, we already were going to talk about this. That's his character in Hotel Transylvania.
Dude, I completely forgot about Hotel Transylvania.
As he was the werewolf.
Until you brought that up. Yes, Steve Buscemi plays a werewolf in that movie. So it's like, yeah,
That's got to be a nod.
fucking obvious that he would.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this dude was a werewolf from the very beginning. And yeah, so then he escapes, but he doesn't just climb out of his basement. He jumps. He leaps into the night. As a werewolf would. And yeah, I wrote was a werewolf in Hotel Transylvania movies. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm finally halfway through my notes. Don't worry, it picks up.
Only on page 2.
And so now Hubie is freaking out. He goes to the sheriff's, cops, police station, whatever, and he breaks in. And then we get a nice montage of Kenan Thompson, like, behind Hubie. And I wrote down everything he says.
Really?
In those montages.
Every single thing?
Yes, there's only 6, but they're fucking great. So in all of these, Hubie goes to Kevin James, Officer Steve, with just the smallest of complaints. Some are big, some are nothing.
And
nothing.
Is that after he's complaining and then they're like, oh, not again?
So, yeah. And so it's like, I'm just going to read through these very quickly. Somebody put a firecracker in my mail slot. There's a diaper in the middle of Dora's pond. there's a weird station wagon at the senior center. Station wagon is a huge nod to Halloween.
Yeah.
Because he's driving a station wagon. The supermarket selling expired bacon. Janet at the library has not been herself lately. I heard a voice in the sewer. Pennywise.
Oh shit! I didn't notice
I love
that.
all of this. Yeah, and he's every single one. Hubie's just wearing some ridiculous outfit. Keenan is right behind him, like, no, don't. I tried to stop him, and that was the thing. And then Kevin James is just like, have you heard of the AUU, the Auxiliary Undercover Unit? And that's where he takes out his inhaler. Hubie's freaking out, and you love this scene because he's like,
Every like 2 seconds.
yeah, just while Kevin James is talking, he's freaking out, puffing his inhaler, and he's like, but you can't talk about it. You get no salary. You have to drop a log that you keep of all the events into a trash can outside of this.
And never talk about it with me ever again.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, very clever. But Hubie, this is the first scene, like the only scene where he believes it. He falls for it.
Yeah.
And then there's just a little scene where Hubie goes to reach for a Hershey's Kiss, and Kevin James just says, no, I only have about 30 left. And I thought that was so fucking... It's just, what? Okay, this movie's... It's just, that's just one of many...
You can tell that he likes his Hershey Kisses.
That's this movie's, like, one of many, like, what the fuck did I just watch kind of scene, but I'm so glad I watched it, you know? Mm-hmm. So, we got Cookie stacking the candy to bring to the homeless shelter. And she goes, all right, Tommy, you need to drive me there. And then Tommy's the dance. It's like, oh, no, you abandoned your sisters. And then Hubie now goes to the dance. And he's like, all right, when I was your age, I made some huge boners. So because I can't do his voice right, what did we agree the voice sounded like?
It was a mix between...
You said...
Well, I said Waterboy and Little Nicky.
Yeah, and I agreed with that.
It was like a nice mix, because it wasn't exactly...
Because there's Mama said, and then there's Get in the Flask. And it's a mix. It's a nice mix. And I'm glad...
Because it's like high-pitched, but not.
At first I was worried I wouldn't be able to understand it, but now it's perfect. But yeah, so it's like, when I was your age, I made some huge boners. And then Tommy and that one girl, Noah Schnapp, and the one girl... are just like, I don't think he knows what boner means. No idea. Or no, he has no idea. And so I was like, oh, I'm glad they're not making fun of him. And so yeah, he gets kicked out of the dance, and Freddie Mercury and another dude, they trick him into going into the corn maze. Oh, but that was after, it's like, yo, we're gonna scare him. It's like, oh, does he get scared easily? And then we see a montage. I didn't write the montage scenes.
Time.
But yeah, it's in the bathroom, it's the lamb. Yeah, he's getting scared all the time. Hubie just gets scared by everything, which is great. Because he loves Halloween, so kudos for him, to not give up.
He goes hard on that Halloween decoration.
Yeah. Oh, her name is Megan. Tommy and Megan. They go in after, there's like, should we save him? She's like, I knew there's a reason I liked you, freshmen. I was like, oh, I'm glad, everyone loves each other in this movie.
I know. Or the good people.
Yeah, the good people. So she's Red Riding Hood, which was a good line, because he's like, well, you better don't want to be out, especially you, because there's a werewolf on the loose. Yeah. And so Freddie Mercury, who is now dressed as Freddie, so I can say Freddie, he's like, oh, well, here's welcome to your first freshman fight. Psh! And Freddie Mercury just punches Tommy in the face. And Megan picks him up, and he's like, oh, is the fight over? Did I win? She's like, yeah, you did good. He's like, oh, cool. And so now we get POV shots through the mask.
Oh, yeah,
in
the
this
pig
movie,
mask.
which we're led to believe is the pig mask. Yeah. I don't know what I wrote here. Takes away FM. Oh, Freddie Mercury. His name's Michael Moody.
There you go.
Or Mondi. I can't read my writing. So yeah, it's Michael. I was right. I'm still gonna call him
Michael.
I'm gonna call him Freddie. Yeah, Michael Myers. So
and you got Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Not really.
And I love it. It's just Hubie thinks it's his dad in the corn maze. Like his own dad. And he's just like, does mom know you're still alive? Are you still mad at me?
Does he really?
Yeah, he says that. It's goofy. And then he sees that, Freddy is tied up. And then he gets sucked, like pulled away, like Paranormal Activity, Insidious pulled away, or Conjuring. I don't know. One of those movies. Very much in that vein of supernatural movies. Mm-hmm. So, at this point, Hubie's lost in the corn maze. he sends them home. He does a nice comment to Tommy. He's just like, I know you're a nice boy, and I'm also not going to tell your mom that you were out. So you need to go home, hang out with your sisters, and you, young Riding Hood, werewolf and whatnot. So they listen. It's very nice. I love how he's walking by, and he's like, oh, man, too bad my thermos doesn't have a compass. It's like, oh, that's the one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a portable toilet, but not a compass.
Darn.
And yeah, so Freddy's pulled into the maze, and then for some reason, Richie Hartman is peeing again. Just on the street randomly. It's kind of hard to see, but I was like, oh yeah, okay, because you can
call him Pig Mask.
Yeah, because you can hear it. Oh, and then I wrote down the Lost in Corn Maze part. Shining.
Okay.
Yeah, because Lost in Corn Maze. Granted, it doesn't end in a cold, wintry death. But yeah, Hubie heads to the drive-in where we meet Maya Rudolph, who is also I'm just gonna say a Sandler alum.
She is. She was in Grown Ups.
Yes. And they prank with the headless driver because Tim Meadows...
They're together.
Yeah. Maya Rudolph...
They're married.
Yeah, they're married. Maya Rudolph has a Bride of Frankenstein look. And somebody at the party, like the college dance or the high school dance, already is dressed like that because Megan calls him Bride of Skankenstein. I was like, oh, clever name. Like, she's just a badass character. I love her. But yeah, so she is Bride of Frankenstein. And Tim Meadows has a headless... I don't know. It's just...
Horseman type thing?
Yeah, it's just like he's got hands that hold his real head.
Yeah.
But then the shoulders of the costume go above it, so it just looks like a headless dude. And he does this
very cool.
weird thing in like the first scene where we meet Maya Rudolph where he's like sucking on his fingers.
It's really creepy.
And it's just a weird ongoing gag of how like she's horny, but never for him.
Yeah.
And he's like... It's goofy. So I have here... She goes to prank him, and she's like, "Oh, Hubie, I can see that you're doing your regular scouting for shit. There's a car over there that is just shouldn't be there." And so he walks towards it, and on IMDb it says the scene where Hubie approaches the old car at the drive-in movie theater and its headlights suddenly flash on seems to be a nod to Christine. That could be a stretch, but I fucking love Christine. So I'll take it. Another horror movie.
Good enough.
Another horror movie that gets tied into Hubie Halloween. And I feel like it's good because it's not like a parody or a spoof, but if it's just Halloween and it's like a fun thing about Halloween, you're going to cram as many Halloween related things in as possible.
Can.
Absolutely. And so yeah. Prank with headless driver in old car. He escapes and finds once again William with hairy arms. Oh, in the woods, yeah. Yeah, is this where Adam or Hubie escapes with the grappling hook outside of the corn maze? Or he gets chased at one point. So he escapes and he's in the woods, yeah. And then he just sees Walter with the hairy arms. So it's like, yeah, confirmed werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's in the middle of turning.
Yeah. And then we got a Jaws scenario, which I love these. I notice them all the time. And then
It was a Jaws scenario?
Yeah, it's just like, oh, cool, we got Richie Hartman on the loose. We've already had a kid go missing. And it's like, well, what are we going to do? Cancel Halloween?
Oh, okay.
He laughs about it.
Yeah.
And according to IMDb, the mayor's, I don't like this word, but the mayor's garish jacket is supposed to be a riff on the mayor's jacket in Jaws.
Wow, I
went back and looked at it.
did
I'm just
not
like,
think about that.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty similar looking jacket.
That makes sense.
And both mayors refused to cut off festivities, whatever that word is, festivities, despite the potential harm. It's like, shit, can't close down the beaches sharp, and you can't close down the streets of trick-or-treating Halloween because of psycho...
I mean, yeah.
So I was like, damn, I fucking love all of these things. It really...
These things,
Whatever. But it just rewards you for, like, knowing all of these horror movies. It's like, oh, look at all these, So, yeah. Hubie talks with Violet. Nice talk after being a foster... Oh, this is when... Yeah, he just goes to the diner. He refills his thermos. And he has a really nice talk about her being a foster mom. Just adopting those kids and just being nice. And it's like, I love these two. They're so great. And,
so cute.
His name is Lester. Tim Meadows is Lester.
Oh.
Lester Hennessy. And she is credited as Mrs. Hennessy, so we never get a first name from Maya Rudolph. Yeah, that was a nice scene. And then Tim Meadows and Maya Rudolph, they're driving, and there's still weird chemistry between them. And then they see a scarecrow in the middle of the street.
And they're like...
And he goes out.
Okay.
He goes out to do it, and he's like, "Oh, it's just a scarecrow." And then he gets abducted, pulled off. And it's like, how would she not have seen that?
She literally looked away for 2
Yeah,
seconds.
and then she didn't. So she walks out. Same thing happens.
But he was supposed to be on
Yeah.
the scarecrow thing.
So the kids lit... I don't like this. The kids lit Hubie's yard on fire.
Aww.
But the mom was like, "Oh, it happens every year." So it's like, okay, cool. I don't have to feel that bad about it.
Yeah, but it happens every year.
Yeah, and it's not just like the toilet paper and eggs. Like, Jesus, you lit the fucking dude's house on fire. Or the front yard.
All those decorations.
And then Walter Lambert goes back to his house and he handcuffs himself to the fridge. And then Pighead enters. And he pulls off his mask. And it's Rob Schneider. The #1 dude.
Cameo.
Adam Sandler's right-hand
person.
man.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, there he is. That would make sense.
We were waiting.
Yep. And then we see the POV mask shot of... I don't actually even know what. I just wrote, then we see POV mask shot, so not Richie Hartman. Yeah.
But it is Richie Hartman.
No. The mask POV shot was never Richie Hartman. This dude was just strolling the streets and just peeing everywhere.
Wait a second. So the pig mask was never Richie Hartman?
No, it was, but the POV shots were never through the pig mask.
Oh!
Yeah, I would spoil it for you, but we're almost there.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, you know now. And then Hubie hears a howl. I don't know if he's still in the diner at this point, but he thinks it's Mr. Lambert. Oh, yeah, he sees a dog, an actual dog at like a haunted house. Just on the street, which is really cool that people just let their houses, they transform into haunted houses for others to. That's very cool. And so he chases just this standard, I don't know, husky dog into this house. And I love this one part where it's just like he's wagging his tail in murderous glee.
Because he thinks it's Walter.
Yeah, I fucking love that. He steals someone's silver bullet and just throws it. Doesn't even try to shoot it from a gun. He just throws it and the dog swallows it. And he's like, oh no. So yeah. Oh, lost my place. Chases him after stealing silver bullet. Then we see Mikey Day.
Oh, yeah.
Another SNL alum. Yeah, he's just one of the people in, like, working in the haunted house, like, as a character.
Yeah,
he's
and
got, like, an
also,
axe in the head.
I believe, I can't remember her name. There's another cameo in it that was also in a show with Cameron Boyce.
Yes, she works
She
in
was
the...
also working in
Yeah, because she's, like, crouching underneath something and goes to reach for his leg, and
Yeah,
Hubie
and
just
he
fucking
flips.
screams, like, oh my god, no, don't take me! And she's like, alright, my bad. She's like, really just, oh, you're really scared. Alright, I'm confused. Like, why are you in this haunted house if you're gonna be that scared?
Yeah.
But he's just chasing who he thinks is Walter Lambert. And yeah, then... Oh, I'm sorry. We don't have... Ray Liotta at this point has not been taken away. I thought he was. Ray Liotta goes and he hears Hubie Halloween. Our cat is scratching on his tower.
His little apartment, they call it.
Yeah. Ray Liotta hears Hubie. He's trying to pick up some young chick, and she's like, "No, you're like."
It was a teacher.
Yeah, it's like
Who was actually in. She was also in Disney.
So a lot of Disney people.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Which is crazy because she looks way older.
I think Adam Sandler just spots talent and then gives kids a chance to be in his movies.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, if you're in an Adam Sandler movie, good for you. You've made it. So yeah, he hears him scream. He's like, oh, cool. Since I got rejected by you, I'm going to go scare Hubie. Blah, blah, blah. And so then he gets taken away in that fast, like, motion.
It's just, I don't know. There's something so cheesy about that.
It is, but this
It's
movie...
cute. It is cheesy.
This movie runs away with cheesy constantly.
Which I like it.
But yeah, this is when we got, I think, like the POV shots or whatever. And then, I don't know if this is in your face or subtle, but Walter Lambert lives on Elm Street.
Really?
So it's like a fucking course. So So let's
I
see.
did not notice that either.
Yeah, I think this is when Keenan reports the man. He's like, "Oh yeah, lives on Elm Street." Blah blah blah.
Oh.
Yeah, and so
So Hubie lives on Elm Street.
I guess so. Yeah.
You'd have to.
Yeah. So Hubie is in the haunted house with all of the characters. Oh, Michael Chiklis is in this movie. Who played the Thing in the original Fantastic Four? He's the pastor,
Oh yeah,
or priest or whatever.
Yeah. He
He's like-
also bullies him.
Yeah, he like hangs upside down to trick him. I don't know. He's like, oh, I'm upside down, it's scary, bleh. But yeah, he's in this. So they all now think that Hubie is the one responsible for all of the abductions because it's like they all have something in common with you. Everyone who's got abducted has bullied you.
Yeah.
And Hubie's like, no, and then he does like, oh look, Frankenstein. Everyone turns around and it's like, oh, I've fallen for that twice because I guess that happened earlier in the movie. I didn't write it down. But yeah, so okay, where are we at? So Keenan's on the phone. It's like, yeah, Walter Lambert lives on Elm Street. Yeah, they turned themselves in with the roommate like 45 minutes ago, and it's also. He escaped from a werewolf treatment center.
Yeah.
It's like, come the fuck on. Okay.
It wasn't, but obviously it's not a werewolf treatment center. It's like an insane place.
I don't know. Keenan said. Well, they say it's a werewolf, but it probably is a werewolf treatment
He
center.
says it's a werewolf thing,
I'm gonna believe it is.
but I'm almost positive they said they're both from the insane asylum and they were roommates. And
Okay.
one is a frequent peer on things, and the other one thinks that they're a werewolf.
Yeah, I just love they're having the conversation, and like,
And they're like roommates.
she's like, well, what have you been up to? I've been peeing. It's like, oh, you love peeing. I'm peeing right now. And that's Richie Hartman. That's Rob Schneider who's peeing.
and then it just
And then he goes to
stops.
like lick his hand
Ugh.
because it's not like sexy or anything.
No, I know, but
Like Walter Lambert just licks his hand because now he's a
'cause
werewolf.
he's a dog.
And then it turns and it's just Keenan Thompson just like watching them
Really?
because they're still in the police station. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh god. So, yeah. So everyone thinks it's Hubie, and then he runs away. He's running through the woods, and then there's that weird fucking owl that just goes like whoo hoo hoo, like clearly a human voice, and it's like what the.
Was that Adam Sandler's voice?
I don't know, but it is an owl. It's similar to the big cat with the big eye, or the cat with the big eyes.
Oh, okay.
It's like an animal shouldn't do that, but here it is in this movie doing that. Oh, and then there's bears that are like up on their hind legs trying to fight Hubie as he runs through the woods. They're like punching him, but like missing. And it's like, what the fuck is this scene right now?
What is this movie right now?
Yeah. And so Hubie needs advice, so he's running through the woods to go to the radio center. And that's when we meet the woman behind the radio voice. Do you want to say who it is, Tori?
Sure.
Go ahead.
It's Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq, yeah, it's Shaq.
I gotta say Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah. And then he has, for some reason, a super manly wife. And I actually thought that was more disturbing than Shaq having the woman voice. Because
It wasn't. I was
Yeah.
really thrown with that voice.
Shaq straight up has, like, hey, yo, what's up, dog? He's got that voice. But he's like, yeah, people ain't used to my radio voice. So he just switches back and forth between them.
Like, what's great
It's
is...
not even a filter. That's just, that's his radio voice.
I know,
It's
but
great.
what cracks me up is it's not like you only see it, like, on the radio. He can actually do it just by talking.
Yeah,
And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you do that whenever.
yeah.
Like-
It's great. And then, I don't know if it's now or a later scene. I don't care. Him and his wife sandwich. Like, literally, they Lady and Tramp a really weird sandwich. It's just
It's like a big-ass...
That is a scene I didn't need.
Yeah, I didn't need
No.
that. Definitely no.
I-
No, I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that the woman was. We know who she is.
I don't really care. I don't.
Okay.
I have no idea who she is.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
I guess no one else cares either.
Do you want to look it up?
Maybe.
I don't want to give your phone back to you.
Okay, then give me your phone.
No, I'm busy with my phone.
Okay, then give me my phone.
Okay, fine. Here's your phone. I'll keep talking.
You turned it off. No,
no,
you
I
didn't.
just-
Just kidding.
yeah.
Watch my phone die.
I hope so.
I'm gonna be mad.
But yeah, that was the first time that they saw each other. And so Hubie's like Shaq was like, oh, I heard your voice all the time. It's exactly what I expected you to look like. And Hubie, of course, is like, yeah, not what I expected you to look
Yeah.
like. And so they're just like, yeah, you're the second most frequent caller. And so then it's like, oh, then the first most frequent caller must be the person who's kidnapped all these people because they love Hubie and they want to punish the people who are bullying him. And so we are then led to believe that it's the high school hat trick Violet Valentine. That's what he tells, because Officer Steve shows up at the radio station and he whispers, and you hear him say, hat trick Valentine, or hat trick Violet Valentine. High school hat trick Violet Valentine. I had it written down and I can't even say it. And, yeah. So now Keenan, Kevin James, and Hubie, it's like, okay, we're going to try to catch Violet Valentine, like confessing that she's the one who's been doing this, or get something that leads us to confirm that she's the one responsible for all the abductions. And it's like, all right, your safe word is pumpkin. So he meets with her. It's like a really foggy, like, not alleyway, but they're like at a dock or a port or something. And the first sentence that she says to him, he's like, pumpkin. He's like talking into her shoulder. He's like, pumpkin. And she's like, are people watching me? He's like, pumpkin, pumpkin. And in the van, they're just like, oh, come on.
Like, you couldn't last 2 minutes.
So they somehow, like, trace the burner phone that, like, called the radio station or whatever. And they call it, and then someone else picks up, and then, yeah. But then Violet and Hubie confess their love for one another. He's
adorable.
Like, I've loved you since the second grade. And she's like, Hubie, I've loved you since the first grade. What took you so long? He was like, I was in love with the teacher. She smelled nice. Yeah, it was adorable. And then the killer's cell phone is in the mom's house. Oh, and this is where Father Dave, Michael Chiklis, is just hanging upside down. And yeah, so the mom is just drinking Chardonnay. Oh, and that's who calls. They like Chardonnay. That's like the one hint they go off of, is the caller just likes Chardonnay. Okay. Or something like that. So the mom is drinking Chardonnay in the dark. It's very creepy. And what do I have here? Fights bullies back, pours gasoline tied up to poles. Oh, she kidnaps them because she's upset that he doesn't fight back with the bullies.
So she wants to basically murder them.
Yeah, it's like, you don't stand up for yourself, so I have to do it for you. And this, I can see it. The final, according to Imdb, the final reveal of Hubie's mother seeking revenge on those that made fun of her son is an homage to Jason Voorhees' mother in Friday the 13th.
I can see that.
I fucking love it.
100%. I thought about that.
And then another piece of trivia. This is the last piece. Nope, second to last piece of trivia I have is when Hubie's mother reaches for her cell phone after he realizes she is the killer, not even attempted killer, almost killer. There's a pumpkin mask next to it. I didn't get a good look at the mask, but I guess it's a reference to Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
That could be a stretch, but maybe it's the same fucking... There are 3 masks, very iconic, so probably then. I don't feel like that would be on IMDb if it's just like any other mask. So it's like, oh shit, it's the mom. Like, that's crazy. Like, for a moment, because when Violet meets Hubie on the port or wherever they are, she's kind of odd.
She's kind of sus.
It's very, very suspicious. But then there's that whole, I've loved you, and then it's like, okay, cool. So we're good.
They always have that in movies where they want you to believe the person is a killer until something happens, and you're like, oh no.
Then it's like, how in the fuck is Hubie's mom capturing people like that?
Yeah.
I would like to believe that she has a thermos and it's just grappling,
like
hooking everyone.
She was the one to make it originally.
It's grapple hooking everyone. That's a weird thing to say. Yeah. And she does that whole monologue of like, well, you're bullied and you didn't say this, I have to do it for them. So she throws the match, and then there's the montage of Hubie getting bullied. So he's at the moment like, yeah, this is what they get. But then at the diner, Violet is like, what I love about you is you're so selfless and you always do the right thing and you look out for other people. And so he takes his thermos and splashes some soup in slow motion. It just goes and puts out the flame on the match.
And then as soon as that happens, they're like, hey, asshole, get me down,
Dude,
blah, blah, blah. And
yeah.
it's like, dude, he literally just saved your life, and you're being an asshole
She's
to
like,
him.
he just saved 4 ungrateful jackasses with soup. And then they say all their reasons why they bullied him.
And it's 'cause
Freddie
of the
Mercury
girls.
was pressured to be cool. Tim Meadows was jealous of his hair. And I don't know. This one's weird, but Maya Rudolph he has hope. And then she mentions something about his non-existent sex life.
Yeah.
So I don't know. She's jealous. He has hope. And then this was random as fuck, but Ray Liotta is dyslexic, and I guess Hubie uses big words, and Ray Liotta didn't like that.
He didn't understand them.
Yeah. So yeah. And
There's
then
a lesson for people out there.
Right. And then the
He
mom.
always has a lesson for shit.
Right. I love these movies. They're so wholesome.
It's like, hey, maybe they're jealous of you. Maybe it's not.
I feel like
you.
these family
Maybe it's
movies,
them.
he just makes them and he wants to show his daughters, and it's just like, yeah, I want you to grow up with these lessons, and these are fun ways to learn about
Makes me kind
them.
of sad because he dedicated to Cameron Boys.
We're so close to there, babe.
I know.
And then the mom shouts Frankenstein and then disappears. Oh, and then
Frankenstein.
Steve and Keenan show up, but then also Walter and Richie,
Yeah.
fucking Steve Buscemi and Rob Schneider are there, and they're just like, freeze! And they're like, why'd we bring them? It's like, we had to. They were the only ones left in the police station. Had to bring them. It's just goofy. And so, yeah, that was twice. Oh, that was the second time that Frankenstein was said. So, yeah, Kevin James is like, oh, that's twice in 1 week I've fallen for the Frankenstein trick. And so, yeah. And now, I don't know if it's Adam Sandler's real wife is reporting on scene, but it's...
Pretty sure it was.
Hubie is like, this is for Violet Valentine. I just broke up with my Canadian girlfriend, and then they start, like, kissing
Yeah.
over through the camera. I'm like, odd, but all right, I get it. And then it's 1 year later, and they're kissing. And it's like, like for real kissing, like two people, like lips on lips kissing. Like sexy kisses. Cues. And yeah, so the kids show off their, and they're married. So, yeah
so he basically
they're married, and he's the father of those children. So
Yeah.
Megan dresses up as Walter Lambert, like the werewolf. Cookie dresses up as Officer Steve. Danielle, the older daughter, who I haven't talked much about in this, dressed up as Richie Hartman. And Tommy dresses up as Father Dave. And he's the mayor.
Who?
Hubie.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the mayor now.
Oh, shit.
And that kind of went over my head,
Did you
just
know,
like with you. What's up?
Did you know that the original mayor, the one that was being an ass or whatever, he was also in other Adam Sandler movies. He was in Little Nicky as the mayor.
Yeah.
Wait, let me make sure. Either a mayor or a...
Yeah. There was an awkward scene between him and Kevin James' character where he's just like, smell my feet.
Yeah, he was the mayor.
Smell my feet. Smell my feet. Because he didn't want to cancel... He's like, trick or treat, smell my feet. And then he didn't want to cancel Halloween.
Huh.
And Kevin James like, do you really want me to smell my feet? He's like, no. And then the scene just ends.
That makes me happy.
it is
Because I
just
just
weird.
never really noticed that.
Yeah. And then I wrote down, Happy Halloween to all and to all a good fright. I'm 90% sure that Hubie Halloween said that. I can't remember if Hubie Dubois. I think he's the one that said that.
Okay, let's go with that.
And yeah, but someone says it. I think he says it. And I just love that. Happy Halloween to all and to all a good fright. And then the movie ends with
Then the dedication.
in loving memory of Cameron Boyce, who I'm pretty sure they don't say. He was originally supposed to be in the movie.
to be one of the...
I think he's supposed to be
people in the
Noah Schnapp's character. I'm just gonna go out on a limb.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that. I don't think he'd be a bully.
I'm pretty sure he was supposed to be a bully.
It doesn't matter. He unfortunately died. I'll read the excerpt. It says, Cameron Boyce was going to appear in the movie before his death on July 6th, 2019. I paused at July 6th because my birthday is the day after that. Boyce would have reunited with his former co-stars Peyton List and Karen Brock. So no, he wasn't going to be Freddie Mercury because he was going to reunite with those characters. So he was probably going to be Noah Schnapp's character.
I don't know.
How
'Cause
does that not
it
make sense?
Because I read it and it was not him.
I don't know how that doesn't make. There's no other character. He's not gonna be like some random side kid character.
I don't know.
But yeah, he was gonna reunite with those characters, as well as former co-stars from Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2, and the movie's dedicated to him, and that's really nice.
Yeah.
And that, somewhat of a long podcast, was Hubie Halloween.
One thing I will add,
Yes,
also,
ma'am.
they have a lot of their own kids in this, not just Adam's. It's Ben Stiller's kids and
yes.
Kevin James, I believe his kids are in
Oh,
it
that's
too.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think most of the kids made up family of the other cast members.
That's awesome. So that's Hubie Halloween, everyone. This will be a movie I plan to watch every October.
That would be really fun.
As long as, Netflix sticks around and Hubie Halloween stays on it. I don't know why it wouldn't, because it is a Netflix original. But yeah, guys, even though it's not Halloween, it's no longer October.
Unfortunately.
2020 has been one hell of a year, super fucking scary. So to me, every month this year has been October. Every fucking holiday has been Halloween.
Yeah, because I don't want it to be
So,
Christmas yet.
Yeah, don't. Just fucking go watch Hubie Halloween. I mean, we've done spoiled everything for you. But, guys, this is spoiled popcorn. We're going to spoil everything. And do you have anything else to add?
Nope.
I see you mad scrolling through your phone.
Yeah, I'm just looking up people.
Yeah. And that was it. We don't know what we're going to do for our next episode. But honestly, we may not stick to this because rarely do we stick to anything we say. This probably will be our last episode of Spoiled Popcorn for 2020. We're very busy in the upcoming months. We're moving in like 2 weeks or whatever. We're going to be setting up the new place. So
Might
podcast
be a while.
is going to be on the back burner a little bit. We're just going to settle into the new house. I will get this episode uploaded as soon as I can. Maybe even tomorrow. I don't know. That's also today because it is currently
Ugh.
almost 1 a.m. Jesus, we've been doing this for over an hour.
Ugh.
But yes, guys, until next time, I'm Tyler.
I'm Tori.
And you seem so thrilled about that.
I'm tired.
And this has been Spoiled Popcorn. Thank you.
Where Tyri?
We will see you probably next. Oh, Tyri, adorable. We'll see you 2021. Here's to hoping that it's better than the shit show that was 2020.
Mwah.
Yes, kisses, lots of kisses. Let's go.
Kiss.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.